Hello everyone and welcome. In this video, I'll be making a zine prototype for my game. If you've seen my last videos, you'll know I'm making a TTRPG, or tabletop role-playing game, that I want to fit on a page. The zine you can see here is one I picked up from Dragon Meet, which is a gaming event held in London once per year. I've got another two of these and they are beautifully drawn and presented. The paper also has a bit of weight to it as well, so they can definitely withstand being used many times. The publisher is Beyond Cataclysm, which I think is a small indie press, so definitely check them out as they had some really good games and books on their table. So before I begin, I'm going to quickly Google the dimensions of an A3 sheet and cut some leftover packaging paper to size. I was tempted to buy an A3 pad for this, as I do have some ideas for future videos that would need this size of paper. But until I have something more concrete in mind, I'll stick to this instead. I do have some offcuts going spare, so what I'm going to do is create a quick how-to-zine guide that I can refer back to. It may actually be helpful for you guys too, if you're interested in doing something similar, like a game on a page. Because I wanted these instructions to be a bit more presentable, I decided to get my old compass and create a circular template. The idea I had in mind was making all the steps run in a clockwork direction. Also, I want to keep my gaming journal interesting, and having lots of different types of paper in there, the better. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to think of game ideas. I like to have a concept in place first before I start. But there have been times when I've just drawn a map, as the process of doing so has kick-started what my idea will be. It could be quite chicken and egg though, and my thought process does flip between the two. Creating a zine guide may also seem simple, but even something like this required a bit of thought. Because I already knew how to make a zine, the presentation of putting it in a circle came second, as I already knew all the steps. But if my priority was to make my game journal look a bit more interesting and inspiring, I could have started with the circle design and tried to think of something else to fit in it. The same is true for designing games, especially when it comes to encounters or thinking about the motivation of the NPC characters involved. You have to start somewhere though, and even if the motivation of your characters is important, it may be easier to design the encounter first. Of course, you don't have to stick to it in your final version. It might just be a good starting point to get the overall design ideas flowing. So, back to the how-to-zine guide. The steps should be quite simple to follow, and next I'll be folding my prototype. I quite enjoy making these guides or cheat sheets, even when I know what I'm doing, as when I'm at the final mock-up stage, I won't have to think too hard to remember the exact folding steps. I'm actually quite impressed with how that paper withstood the folding and cutting. So yeah, really glad I didn't rush out to buy a brand new pad of A3 cartridge paper. So next step is numbering the pages. You can do this bit as you're folding, but I like to leave it to last, as I want the numbers to align with the pages when the zine is folded up. That way it kind of looks like a book. Looking at the zine as it is, I'm getting a better idea of how I want to structure my game. Pages 1 to 6 are going to be 6 scenes or sections within my story arc. Now my map as it stands does not have 6 rooms, so that gives me a bit of flexibility in terms of what I want to include. Games don't have to just include encounters, they can also be puzzle and investigation heavy in places. Some sections can also be just about the story, and it's up to the players to roll well enough or ask the right questions to the NPC. These are more social encounters, but for me, they are some of my most favourite aspects of the game. To keep my new how-to-zine guide safe and secure, I'm going to tape it down to my game journal. I'd rather keep it folded, as it looks nicer and gives me more room on the page for annotations or notes later. The zine itself I'm going to tape into the spine so that it functions like an independent page. Another reason I'm doing this is so that I can open up fully, which will help me decide where to place different elements of my game. I also like how my journal is beginning to take shape, and I can really see how my train of thought has moved on since I last worked on it. Placing my zine next to the map also means I can see at a glance what I'm working on. I can make each room as busy or bare as possible. I'm already getting some more ideas on the types of monsters I want to include. Of course, they'll be connected to the history of the time, so that's what I'll be working on next.